Oh, sorry, Otaku Nation. I just got back from the gym and just eating some protein so I can get some massive gains. But now since we're here, I guess we have to talk about hegemonic masculinity.
I'm the political and practical implications of gram-size ideas _420.
I'm emotions and feelings are for the weak, 47.
And we are the Otakus of the night. So today we're going to be reviewing hegemonic masculinity based off of 3 different criteria: graphics, gameplay, and level design.
So the idea of hegemony was founded by the Italian communist Antonio Gramsci, who was imprisoned actually for most of his life. He grew up in fascist Italy under Mussolini. So hegemony is based on the status quo. It is enabled by a manufacture of consent. Gramsci conceptualized the capitalist state as being made up of 2 overlapping spheres: a political society which rules through force and a civil society which rules through consent or social norms. So basically, hegemony rules through the combination of the civil and political society or spheres. And it's a power structure that is replicated through generations. So hegemonic masculinity is as American as American apple pie.
Duke Nukem, the video game character, is an icon of hegemonic masculinity. He has big muscles, he pisses on a lot of things, he shoots big guns at everything, and he talks about his balls a lot. Now, all this stuff adds up to one big hegemonic masculine package. But the question here is this really what hegemonic masculinity is, or is it just what our perception of hegemonic masculinity is? For example, Duke Nukem probably does all this crazy stuff, like have big muscles, use really huge bazookas, and all this stuff, because he's really insecure inside. He's not secure about who he is as a man, and that right there kind of detracts from all the masculinity that we may think he has. Additionally, Duke Nukem is an asshole. Real men aren't assholes. Real men are nice and charismatic, okay? And real men don't kill people unless they're killing them with their good looks, charisma, and chivalry.
Another example of hegemonic masculinity is that sexy hunk of a man by the name of Ted Cruz. Oh! Ted! Now, Ted Cruz propagates hegemonic masculinity when he engages in behaviors like cooking bacon in a fucking machine gun to get votes. Now, this combines America's rampant gun culture with a sense of pride and authenticity by chewing on the raw blood. You can feel the blood of the pig dripping from your mouth as you eat bacon, despite the fact that it's cooked and it doesn't have any blood in it. But you get my idea. So he engages this sort of act of hegemonic masculinity by domination, which was noted by Gramsci, domination of a pig, and by maintaining a power structure by having a gun, because how do you fight back against a gun unless you have a bigger gun or a tank?
Which is a bigger gun.
Exactly, or these guns.
One of the biggest perpetuators of hegemonic masculinity is the world-famous YouTube channel known as the Otakus of the Night. Now, on the surface, these videos may seem very innocent. However, there are many low-key thematic elements talking about, how big their dicks are, how much pussy they get, how much money they have, how many pants they go through every day. And, we just want to make it known that, the size of a man's dick does not determine his worth as a man.
But it determines his worth as an entrepreneur.
And the amount of money that a man has does not determine, how important he is or how great of a man he is.
But it determines how much important of an entrepreneur he is.
The Otakus of the Night, they fetishize the upper class, isolate the middle class, and they shit on the lower class. I think that deep down, the Otakus of the Night are really just, insecure about who they are as men. They don't want to show their feelings in their YouTube videos. They don't want to talk about how they feel, who they really are. And we think that this is because of this hegemonic masculinity that is really plaguing society today. Men believe that they can't talk about their feelings. They have to act all masculine all the time. Talk about how big their dicks are, how much pussy they get all the time, how often they get laid, all the money they have. But I feel like they probably do have pretty big dicks, don't you?
Yeah, low key. Hegemonic masculinity isn't just something that is inflicted on us. It's taught to our children too. That there's, like we said, like Gramsci's conception of the civil society, it maintains itself through social norms. So what's the best way to indoctrinate kids but a cartoon and video game series like Kirby and a piece of shit like King DDD? So, how does King DDD exemplify masculine or hegemonic masculinity? Well, it's simple. The hammer is an example of his manhood. The hammer is political society. The hammer is the control, the power of King DDD. It's physical force. It's manipulation by physical force. And how does he maintain power? By the Waddle Dees. But the Waddle Dees conglomerate. They only listen to King DDD. That's civil society. That is, the Waddle Dees are like us, and King DDD is like, the big corporate America, you see? And to further my point, this is what I think about you, King DDD. Fuck you.
We just want to make it clear our intentions here. We just want you to know that we love hegemonic masculinity. Hegemonic masculinity is basically what we are. We're the embodiment of it. And King DDD, with all his political power, all of his masculine affinity, he managed to raise an army of Waddle Dees that they all do his bidding. They do his dirty work for him. They do everything for him. They go out, they attack his nemesis. He wields this huge hammer that's bigger than himself. I mean, only a true man can wield a hammer bigger than himself. In his 2005 video game, Shadow the Hedgehog, the protagonist, also named Shadow the Hedgehog, goes up against an alien race called the Black Arms in order to save the world from annihilation. In this game, he uses guns, he uses weapons, he uses martial arts, he uses his wits, and uses lots of swears. That right there makes him an icon of masculinity.
But mostly he's a hedgehog, and that's why he relates to hegemony.
Another reason why we really love hegemonic masculinity is because hegemonic masculinity is perpetuated by capitalism, and we love capitalism. You know why? It's because capitalism panders to the upper class, and that's the class that we're in because we just have so much money, and also our dicks are really big.
For graphics, we give hegemonic masculinity a 10 out of 10. For gameplay, we give hegemonic masculinity a 10 out of 10 because it involves guns. Guns are cool. It involves, muscles. Muscles are cool. And what's not to love about that? And for level design, we give it a 3 out of 10.
And just one final reminder, we love the pussy, and the pussy loves to conform to a hegemonic masculine society.